The folks here already know. However, we do have many calls every week. This is just one of them. Of course, it's the best one, so thank you for coming to it. Today, we'll discuss through new features, things that I'm generally excited about, things we have worked on, are working on, or plan to work on, as well as heading over to Julie for discussion about GFO and point of sale integration. This will be the first week in 2 to 3 weeks. Julie, have you missed 3 weeks worth of calls?
No, just 2.
Welcome back. It did. It just certainly felt like a long time. Good to have you back. And let's do this thing. So, guys, on the new features side of stuff, the items that have come out or are coming out that are the 3 largest things I have on the top of my head would be that linked locations has hit globally. So you now have the ability to link your locations together. This has pretty huge use case, and it's a huge thing, man. It's massive. So again, it allows you to link together 2 locations that you have or more. So that if you my example always has been in St. Louis, Missouri. When I first opened my delivery service here, I had St. Louis City proper. If you're familiar with the St. Louis City, it's a huge, sprawling, not dense city and metropolitan surrounding area. And so I like the main area, and then you have like your west area, and then I had those as 2 separate markets. It would have been really beautiful to be able to link those 2 markets together and have them operating as kind of a linked unit as opposed to independently. This feature would allow you to do something similar to that. So if you're thinking about opening in like a new market that's right next to your current market, but you kind of don't think you have enough resources to facilitate that as its own market, and you want to kind of open it as like a shared space market with the current existing one, this allows you to do that. I'm seeing a request to show an example. The best thing is I'll have a video out by the end of the week this week with Nicola. He has videos ready for me just to watch and approve, and I have not been able to get to it. I'll have videos for you guys by the end of the day today or tomorrow. And Jesse, to answer that kind of more vaguely, I guess, with words versus screen share, is if you go into location on the info tab, at the bottom of that, there's checkboxes now with all of the locations that you have access to that are not the location you're in currently. So if I go into location 1, at the bottom of the info tab, I'll have, for example, location 2, 3, and 4 down there that I could checkbox. Don't check them off unless you truly want to link them. Once they're linked, consumers can order, consumers with an address that is in location 1 can order from a restaurant in location 2, pending that they are within the maximum distance that's on the restaurant profile for restaurant 2.
So restaurants between 2 territories or addresses between 2 territories now don't either have to pick one or the other.
That's correct, man. Yeah. So like if you have 3 markets in that case, and then there's a smaller market between those. So you have 2 large markets and a small market between the 2. You could link the 2 larger ones to the smaller one, and then people from the smaller one can order from the restaurants from the 2 larger ones, as long as they're within the maximum distance as set on those restaurant profiles. So it's pretty.
With drivers too, Matt?
There is, yeah. I mean, so the drivers can either be shared across those or not. When you check on the driver's profile, they're going to have their default location, right? But they also have the just like the locational access checkboxes underneath there too. So in that case, if I wanted, I could just have like a guy who's in the small market. I mean, actually, like, so in reality here, if you had this situation, maybe the way to play that would be, I got my drivers who drive for large location 1. I got my drivers who drive for large location 2. I don't even staff any drivers in location 3, which is small location between those 2. I don't even put any drivers there. However, all of my drivers have locational access to that. And the small location is linked to the two big locations. What this means then is auto dispatch would say, oh, hey, is there any driver in that small location? Oh, nope, there's not, because there's never going to be one checked into it. And then it'll say, okay, I'm going to pull in a guy from one of these other locations to take the food over into this spot. And it'll handle the situation, fully properly. I think that if I were to have that sort of situation, I might try playing it the way I described. I would maybe have to think through it further. So yeah, you can control if you don't want the driver going into a different market, then you just don't have that market checked in that driver's profile. Worth mentioning that like surge pay, messaging, and all of that stuff will work in the same manner. So like if I as a driver have location 1 as my default location, and I have access to locations 2 and 3 as well. If I'm not checked in anywhere right now, and there's more drivers needed in location 3, even though my default location is location 1, because I have access to location number 3, the system will send me that surge pay, notice, hey, drivers needed in location 3, X dollars more per order for the next 2 hours. Please check in now and head to location 3 is how these messages will be kind of phrased now. Yeah. So a lot of cool stuff with that. It's exciting. I think we'll start seeing more people experimenting with it in the coming weeks. We have had several large clients operating on this for some time, and it should be fully safe. Any other questions regarding linked locations today? I've been talking about these things a lot. Driver floor pay is one that we've released recently. And I take it back. It's not fully global yet. And very happy we didn't push it fully global yet, because we had some issues with it over the weekend that we came across and made those fixes for it. There's a couple of other small things. So let me tell you guys what we added to it, because I think everyone's pretty well caught up on how it works and all that. But we are adding to it this thing I have to explain it. So, all right, driver floor pay allows you to set up on a location level or on a driver override level how much money you want drivers to make on a per hour basis as a minimum amount. And then the number of order rejections you're in DeliverLogic, the drivers can reject orders. So we have a maximum number of rejections that we will allow for them to still be able to be eligible to earn the minimum pay. But what this does is it counts the cumulative amount of time between all check-ins and check-outs for a given date for a driver, compares how much money that driver made from commissions, tips, and credits to the amount of time that the driver was checked in, multiplied by the hourly min pay, compares those numbers. If what the driver got from commissions and stuff is not equal to, if it is below the value of what the min pay would have been, then we issue that difference as a credit to the driver. What ended up happening, right out of the gate, literally the first day, was a driver checked in at 3 a.m., stayed checked in until 7 a.m., checked out, got himself an extra 3 ghost hours there. And so we started seeing people immediately abusing it. So what we have done is we are in the process of building what we're just referring to as a locational settings driver check-in approval. It kind of reads like this. Add a checkbox setting to the locational info tab near the driver floor pay settings, which are in the bottom right of the info tab. Call it force dispatch to approve all driver check-ins. this box will default to not being clicked. When it's not clicked, the drivers will just be able to check in and check out freely based on the normal driver logic settings to allow that to occur. When the setting is clicked, again, the setting will be called, submitting these people. All right, the setting will be called force dispatch to approve all driver check-ins. So it's not going to be clicked. Once you click that button, obviously what it's going to do is it's going to force the dispatch to approve all driver check-ins. So there's on the dispatch screen, if you have this activated, on the dispatch screen, when a driver checks in, there'll be a little section of like pending check-in approvals. You'll have to then click a button that then allows that driver to actually check in. So driver will go to the app, driver will click check in, driver will get a message or an alert that says, thanks for checking in, hang tight while dispatch approves your check-in, or something along this nature. If you decline the driver's check-in, don't allow them to check in, then they'll get some sort of message telling them to like reach, hey, you're not supposed to check in right now, or something like that. Reach out to dispatch if you have any questions. If there's no response to the check-in at all, like they don't get checked in, there might be some sort of if no action for X minutes automated, decline of check-in, basically. So no action after some period of time will result in a declined check-in. So that's kind of where we're at with this. I do foresee adding in a driver level, like auto accept check-in type thing. If there's like a good driver that you just trust who doesn't play in the system, you don't feel like approving every one of that particular driver's check-ins or what have you. Or a way just to levy this as a defense against particular drivers and not all. So anyway, that's where we're at with this. It's hopefully going to make it so that drivers can cheat this sort of system a little bit less. This driver floor pay, and that's the update we've made. Any questions regarding driver floor pay today? I really hope not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, we have all of this global to you for floor pay.
Yeah, I got a question, Matt.
What you got?
So if the driver floor pay, let's just say we set it to, $20 an hour.
Yep.
Right. And I got 4 drivers on, and 3 of them have easily made that threshold, but 1 is not. Will the system automatically see that and know to start feeding that driver that has not reached that amount?
It's a great question. The answer currently is no.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be an element of auto dispatch. So like, I think just in general, there could be an improvement. Like it's a related thought and concept, but I think the execution for that, Dusty, would be done as an in general addition to auto dispatch as like a earnings equalizer.
Maybe it somehow is combined with spread the love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, like if location or driver has value in min floor pay field, then activate this. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, somehow like it penalizes the guys that have already made a ton of money.
That's
like,
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It increases handicap by 5% on those who need more money or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am excited about the floor pay stuff. I think it's cool. Again, something that's been wanted for a while now. We'll have it around. The last one of these 3 things that I mentioned up front is that indeed the tax thing that I have. I'm less excited about it now, but it's cool. It's there, man. You can now set taxation of your locational tax rate to be taxed off of the consumer's delivery address. instead of your location tax rate, as well as the restaurant tax rate can either be still restaurant tax rate or it can be based off of consumer's delivery zip code now as well.
That's live, huh?
Live, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check.
Taking a look.
That might not be live yet, dude.
I asked Joe yesterday. He said Tuesday.
Okay. That might be trapped with the driver floor pay stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that is the case, which I'm thinking that it actually is, that would be not this next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. Well, so it's gonna follow the same global release pattern as the floor pay stuff.
So the tax thing is going to let you tax it based on where it's delivered to. Right.
That's right. You're gonna have to go in when in your zoning. So you go to locations, go to zoning, you click on a zone, you see your list of zip codes.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be able to add a tax rate to every single zip code in there.
Okay, I got you.
And then
Yeah.
when the consumer orders, we know where it's going, we know what zip code it is, we know what tax rate to charge, we can charge all that tax rate. In the future, we'll have some sort of API. Like there's an advanced story to this side where API looks at the consumer's delivery address and from there goes and queries a database of tax rates, comes
Mhm.
back with the actual tax rate for that human's home and charges it. Right now it's manually inputted tax rates though.
Sure. Okay.
Those are kind of the top 3 things that are things we've worked on recently that I'm excited about. We've recently redone, just kind of looking at things that are going out soon now. We recently redid a lot of the search functionality. Now that has to do with when consumers type their address in, they're displayed a list of restaurants which are available to delivery to their address. As it stands at this moment in time, the consumer can search for restaurant names or menu items. That little search bar at the top that I'm referring to, when you're at this point in time, it says search for burgers and sushis, something like that. Well, at the top of this page, it's going to change now to only be searching through restaurant names, not searching for restaurant menus at this point when it's displaying the full list of restaurant cards. Very soon it'll only search for restaurant names. It'll be very clear and updated hint text or inside of there. It won't say burgers and sushi anymore. It'll say, search for restaurant names here, or search for your favorite restaurant or whatever, something like that. It's also going to be much quicker because we've changed the manner in which the searching is happening. So it'll be much faster when somebody does that. Now, once they click into a restaurant, there's going to be a search box at the top of the restaurant menu still to allow them to search through that menu. I was actually pretty upset when I heard this happening because I truly like the idea of somebody landing, typing their address in, and then it'd be actually kind of an interesting experience to not see any restaurants at all after that happens, but just be led to a search box to start searching for things you want to eat. Kind of interesting to see how that played out in real life. But because I think that's, as me as a consumer, I always like that. It's such a cool thing to be able to type in like ribs into that box and see all the rib options that are available to you at the same time. So in the future, we do plan to add that back, the ability for you to search for menus on that page, but that's a kind of a whole separate thing that ties into that project I've been talking about off and on, where we're going to kind of unify the front end web and app experiences. Once we're back down that pathway, we're going to have the ability once again to search for menu items on this page. On order logic, this is like a fix, but not really a fix. It's actually an improvement. But on order logic, very recently, I don't know what happened. I guess maybe a lot of people have got super into using crazy menus, but people are, I guess, building menus out significantly more frequently these days that go beyond 4 levels of nestedness for options. And apparently on order logic, about a year ago, we made a decision that we would only display 3 layers deep there. So now Order Logic will display infinity deep options. So you can go as deep as you want as for the options now, and they will display properly on Order Logic. Some other floor pay related stuff, updates to that, the tax thing. We're gonna have like a new layout for the zoning stuff. It's gonna look very, very similar, but the zone based and the mileage based are kind of stacked on top of each other, so you don't have to go to 2 separate spots to do those moving forward. The other thing I would say, we're looking into some mapping issues right now. It's been reported with an increase lately, this week specifically, an increased amount of reports coming in where drivers are mapping to delivery addresses, but getting mapped to like the address across the street or the next door address or things like that, and not only happening in DriverLogic, but happening even from the dispatch screen. If you map an order to like, I was looking at one on somebody's instance yesterday, it was supposed to map to like a 514, whatever, Matt Street, and it would map to the 520 Matt Street, which is right next to it. Even though you open the order, you look at it, you see it says 514 on it, then you just click map and it goes to 520. We're looking into it. Now, it was reported, an interesting thing that came up this morning was that somebody said, yeah, my drivers drive also, a lot of them drive for like Uber, Postmates, DoorDash, and many of them are reporting the same issue from them as well, which then makes us think, okay, some weird little things going on the Google side, or there was some change or adjustment to an API thing that we just need to look at. So if you guys are experiencing that problem, apologies, and we are looking at seeing what the heck's going on. Very lastly, I would say we've been looking into an issue lately having to do with Apple Pay on people's apps. There's been an increased number of reports coming in with issues with Apple Pay. That's high on my priority list to be figuring out what's going on with that as well. Not too much else to report on my side today. Does anyone have any questions or comments regarding new features or things you might be excited about? Jeremiah. You are on mute, double muted.
Sorry, I got 2 things open here. I got my earbuds in and I got it on my computer and my phone. With the Apple Pay stuff you were just talking about, we've had some issues where we get the customer comes in, it'll have the wrong phone number, and then it'll be like Apple Relay stuff for the email address, and we literally cannot get in touch with these customers. Is that part of the Apple Pay issue you're looking into?
That is not specifically the aspect of it that I'm looking into. What I am hunting down and tracking on my side with a developer right now is occasionally, not every time, when somebody goes to check out and use Apple Pay, everything will be square, man, but they hit Apple Pay and then it pops back up and it says, cannot use Apple Pay right now. Please try a different payment method or something like that. And then it's something's happening somewhere between us, Google, Stripe, Apple. There's a lot to be tracking down and through there. I spent a couple hours on it yesterday, and then we talked about it for an hour this morning or so with this developer, Colby, and we're pretty close to, I think, having at the very least a better alert or error on there that can be done. That's like the path of least resistance. First step is updating the error on there, just to say like something more like try again versus it ain't working, because a try again will get it to go through most times we have seen, or a double checking of the card on file with the Apple Pay. I'm familiar with the one you're talking about. I think that's more some sort of account creation using Apple technology that results in that scenario, Jeremiah. Something to look into on our side though further.
Yeah, I think when we've seen it, it's been GFO orders that are coming in and being paid for with Apple or something like that. It's kind of strange. There's people that don't have accounts. It's new customers, but then of course, if there's any issue, we have no way of contacting them whatsoever.
That theory makes sense on what is probably Apple account creation on a Google food ordering resulting in it.
Okay. Hey, well, thanks. Just something to bring up.
Totally. Guys, anything else here before we proceed into Julie's section? All right, very cool. Coming in right on time, actually. That's great. Appreciate you guys today. Passing it over to Julie. Julie, welcome back.
Hello, thank you. Good to be back. I was supposed to be back last week, but I got stuck traveling. But I'm back today. So I'm just going to kind of go over the last sort of things I went over. Mostly with GFO, there's a couple new tabs, one on the locational level, one on the restaurant level. Probably most of you guys have played around with that by now. But basically, you can manage your GFO listings from those tabs. Definitely a great thing to give you guys more freedom in that area, especially when your relationships with your restaurants change and grow. You can now enable them for GFO yourself without having to create a ticket and wait for a DL support person to do that for you. I do want to reiterate that GFO should be for your partner restaurants only. And there is a report in the report generator. I'm sorry, in the report drop-down list at the top of your DL home screen. I think you guys were able to see it before, but then when you clicked on it, it wouldn't go anywhere. And now you guys have access to that as of a few weeks ago. And you can pull a list basically of all of your restaurants. You can select which location you want or multiple locations if you have more than one, and then generate that list of all the restaurants that have had some sort of interaction with GFO, either currently or in the past, and it will tell you their current status with GFO, whether they're enabled, whether it's delivery or takeout only, or both. It will also show you if there are any duplicate profiles. Remember, duplicates will cancel each other out, so it's good to search that every once in a while. A lot of times, if you are cloning a restaurant profile to make new ones, and then you don't make the changes to that clone within a couple of hours, when Google resyncs with our platform, it might flag that as a duplicate. If you have the exact same name for restaurant and exact same restaurant, or I'm sorry, an exact same address, and you leave that cloned profile hanging around for a while. So you can search that every once in a while in that GFO restaurant management report and see if you got any duplicates hanging around. And it also has some nice shortcuts on that report. You can go straight to the Google search for whatever restaurant you're looking for. And that's a nice, easy way to just double check what is actually showing on Google. I do have a way to search for any restaurants that have self-opted out. So if you're not seeing active menus and your business name on a GFO listing, if it looks kind of blank, or you're just not seeing what you expected, you can share that restaurant name and address with me, and I'll be able to let you know if that restaurant has opted out on their side. And then you can go talk to them if you want and have them turn it back on. And there's also shortcuts from that report that will bring you straight to the restaurant profile in your backend. So it's a nice thing to have up if you're doing GFO audits maybe, and you can just kind of click back and forth to the Google search and the restaurant profile straight from that report. So definitely a time saver. Has anybody used that and have any questions about it?
I've used the report. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, Jeremiah.
Yeah, I just I still don't have access to when we go up to the reports, we get onto GFO, the managing listings, still don't have access to that. I can do the restaurant feed overview, but when I go to GFO manage listings.
Yeah, I think that GFO managed listing one is blank for everyone right now. Like I don't even use it. And I'm not sure what the goal of that report is in the future, but I don't even use that one. It's just kind of there, and yeah, it's blank. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just going through it and I was like, I still don't have this. So okay.
Yeah, the main one is the restaurant feed overview. That's the one that's working, and that we've put some time in. There's also a filter you can put on that report. We changed the name of it. It's now called Partner Warning View. And that will highlight in gray any restaurants that our system isn't detecting a partnership with. And, you know, we do realize that a lot of our clients have verbal agreements or handshake deals with some of their restaurants. And of course, a software platform can't recognize those type of relationships. So we do have a consent form out there. And if you need a copy of the link, just let me know. I'll send it to you. But you can also find it in the knowledge base in the main GFO article in our help center. But you would want to get a consent form signed for any of those restaurants that get highlighted in dark gray when you run that filter on that report. Because those are the ones that we're just not, that the software isn't like sure about the partnership status of those. Do you guys have any questions about that?
If a restaurant's order submission method is set to, like, say, order logic, but I mean, because I have one that has a 0% commission, I'm just marking up 25. But they are a partner, and they have a tablet from me, all that. Do I still need to get that agreement signed?
I have been telling, you know, everyone down the line, you know, eventually when you have time, it's probably a good idea to get that thing signed for all of your restaurants. But, you know, something like there are, I don't even know, dozens of ways our platform can detect a partnership. I would just run that report, Dusty, and see if that particular restaurant you're talking about gets highlighted. And if not, then you're probably good.
Okay.
But if you have any doubt, I would just get that form signed anyway.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool. Any other questions over the past couple of weeks when I wasn't around about GFO that you guys have? All right. Then I will move on to POS. Again, I've been gone for a little bit, so I don't have anything like super new about POS integrations. I have been, you know, for the past month or so, been talking about our Clover integration. It's still around. It still works on a basic level, but we have taken developers off that project for now. There's a number of just like details that we need to, you know, solidify and work on that I think are pretty important if anybody wants to use this integration. So for now, if you do have Clover restaurants, I recommend going through Chowly. And I think Dusty has already started doing some of that.
Yeah, I'm going rolling with 4 today, and it's been really good that I have full admin access to all these restaurants.
Yeah, that'll make the process super fast. Whether we're going through Charlie or down the line, if you do end up going through the direct integration once we get developers back on that project, I think no matter what the POS system the restaurant uses, if you have a close relationship with them and they can make you sort of like an employee profile in their POS, that always makes things go faster because you can help them organize their menu and things like that. But
And, you know,
okay.
I sent a new integration into Checkmate for a Heartland restaurant. And I think I did this. I think I did it Monday. Yeah, I started it Monday because I got the access from the owner, and it's already 63% complete.
Yeah, I was actually I had a call with one of my reps for Checkmate yesterday, and I also have a partner portal where I can see all the restaurants that are on the DeliverLogic platform and sort of their progress through it's a Checkmate integration system, and I saw your new one on there. So yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
They have made both Charlie and It's a Checkmate are doing a lot of updates this first half of the year, and I never used the Checkmate partner portal like for the one they built for DeliverLogic until recently because it just wasn't being updated and maintained in a way where it was useful to me. But that's why I had this meeting with the Checkmate person yesterday, because they are now, they have put more resources into it, and it's now being updated on a daily basis. And I can sort of keep track of your guys' restaurants now when they go through the self-onboarding process much better than I was able to before. So yeah, that's cool. I didn't know you did it on Monday. I just saw, is it Luigi's Sports Bar and Pizzeria?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I did it Monday. I got the owner made me, gave me the admin access about, I don't know, it was like noon or something,
Yeah.
Hell, actually, you know what? It might've been Tuesday. It was Tuesday. Yeah. Cause I wasn't here Monday. I was out with a restaurant owner. I got access Tuesday around noon time.
I mean, the great thing about being having access to your restaurant's POSs when you do integration, any integration, whether you have access or not, really the speed of it depends on how quickly the middleware company can get in contact and start working on the connection and the menu. So if the restaurant's super responsive, or if you just do it for them, these things can go real fast. Within a week or two, they can be done. Normally, the reason they take a long time is because it's either hard to get a hold, usually because it's just hard to get a hold of the restaurant owner manager. But
yeah, and so I had somebody from Chowley. They called me yesterday morning because one of the 4 requests I sent in, I asked them to contact me direct because the owner, is native Spanish speaker, and and she's not. Well, 2 of them are very not tech savvy, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, I'll just do it for you, right?
Perfect.
And so yeah, this dude David, I have a call with him in like an hour from Chowley.
Sweet.
And yeah, he actually sent me over like a Google form with some additional questions that needed to be answered.
About their menu and stuff.
Yeah. So there's like little things that like Chowley wants you to have. I noticed one of them was that they want you to have an all day menu. So I think they're gonna ask me to not map like a lunch specials or something, right? That's kind of where I'm guessing that's going.
What's the POS system?
Clover.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I know some of them, like Toast, of course, you can get as detailed with the time availabilities for menu items as you want, but some of them Some of the
Right.
POS systems they don't work very well when you do that.
Yeah,
So-
most of the questions in here are nothing. It's nothing too crazy. It was just that the one about that having an all-day menu. One was saying that like if the restaurant uses Clover Flex or Clover Solo Station, that those are not currently supported. So I think that might be our problem with that Estes tie,
Mm,
you know. And then it did ask me to list out all categories I wanted mapped and to list them out in the way I want them displayed.
I like the order. That's cool. That's good to know that they're doing that.
And then that's really it. All the rest of the questions are
Pretty simple.
just minor things, you know, that you're pretty much answering yes to on all of them.
Mhm.
So yeah, pretty simple.
Sweet. So there we have it. I mean, Charlie and Checkmate are both sort of stepping up their game. They're putting more resources into their customer service and their portals for me and any other DeliverLogic support person for us to kind of keep track of the progress for the restaurants that are on our platform. Does anybody have questions about either middleware company or POS integration in general? All right. I don't have too much to add. I might have more next week. I do have a standing call with Charlie every week, and they are on a sprint to do be able to support nested modifiers, which will be a game changer, especially for like our pizza and sandwich restaurants. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted as soon as they go live with that feature.
What's that mean exactly?
Ooh, Lord. Did you guys hear that thunder? Anyways, that scared me. Nested modifiers are when like there's when modifiers go really like deep inside of themselves. So
Okay.
like you have a combo meal where it's like choose a drink, and then it's like choose which size of a drink, and then it's like choose which flavor of a drink, and it all kind of goes like
Gotcha.
basically nested inside.
Okay.
Charlie and Checkmate, I think they can both only support 2 layers, but with like usually pizza restaurants or even like some like Chinese restaurants where you can sort of add like so many different things to one menu item, it can sometimes become a problem, and the restaurant has to basically build a separate, more simple menu for these POS integrations. But soon they won't have to do that.
Cool.
So that's exciting. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got, guys. Matt, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add for this call.
No, I don't really have too much else. I think that everything is moving along pretty well on our side. We're hitting the timelines, we're wanting documentations getting out and all that. So I'm pretty comfortable and happy with everything as it stands today. Does anyone else on the call have any questions or comments before we wrap up?
I actually forgot one thing to mention. We had Nicola added in the knowledge base under Checkmate and under Charlie separately troubleshooting documents for each POS system. And if they're connected through Checkmate, there's one troubleshooting document. If they're connected through Charlie, there's another one. But like Toast, Square, Clover, Spot On, Brink, there's a few, like the major ones. I want to say like the top 6 or 7. So if you guys ever need some troubleshooting advice, you can check those new articles out in the knowledge base. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Julie. Always great to hear the documentation is improving. All right, cool, guys. Thanks a lot so much for the time today. Stay in touch with us on Slack or through tickets or elsewhere. Stay safe out there this weekend. Talk to you soon. Later.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a good one.